Our next speaker is Vimlendra Sharan. He is the Director of Liaison Office for North America of the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations. And he's going to tell us about what FAO has been working on in the area.
Thank you, and let me start by thanking IFPRI and all those who have contributed to this report for what I think is a wonderful product. I had the chance of having an embargoed copy with me for some time, so was able to go through the report before getting the formal presented copy today. And it is really exciting to find so much of hard work which has gone into it. One of the tragedies of speaking towards the end of any of these panel discussions is that you never know whether you're voicing your own thoughts, or you've plagiarized the thoughts of people who have already spoken before you. But trust me, some of them are definitely my thoughts, and I've also learned a few things sitting here and from a roundtable around Habitat 3, which we held yesterday. And therefore, I have tried to get the things together in that fashion. This report also has a collaborative chapter. Chapter 2 has been written in collaboration. Dr. Fan and Dr. Graziano have come together to write the chapter, and it's a fantastic piece of work again. Yesterday, in the roundtable that we had, Elizabeth, who speaks after me, made a very pertinent point which stuck to my mind, and that was about the absence of food in urban discussions and the absence of urban in food discussions. I think that that's really true, and it is really describing how things were coming to this point. But I think the discourse is now changing. And when you see the new urban agenda and Habitat 3, I think now food and urban issues are coming together. And this report, I think, is definitely going to help that cause a lot. So how does the world look in 2050? So this is a Greek philosopher who said, of course it was many years ago, the only thing that is constant is change. So the world will change. There are some romantics amongst us who still feel the romance of a village and feel that rural is what must progress and cities are bad. But that you may feel as you wish, but the fact remains that the world is going to change. And the world is going to change, and you will find that there is a growth in the urban population. So you have about half the population in the world, about 3.5 billion, living in cities today. You'll be adding another 2.5 by 2050, which takes it to 7, which is 7 out of possible 9. Nearly 2/3 of your population is going to be living in cities. So that is how the world is going to look in 2050. It is an inevitable process, and this process will bring a complete change in the paradigm and the landscape in which policymakers will work. So there is going to be a fundamental change which we have to see if we have to feed 2/3, or rather the whole world by 2030. If we have to eradicate hunger and poverty, we have to have a change in a paradigm shift in the way we look at things. So where is this happening? Now 90% of the increase in urbanization is going to be in Asia and Africa. And I want you to take a pause here and just think about it, because many of these countries where this urbanization is going to come are today not really very vibrant economies. They are struggling economies. They have a problem with governance systems, with the capacities, and over and above that you're going to impose this urbanization in these areas. So you can imagine what the results are going to be like. I'll invite you for 10 seconds to close your eyes and just imagine. Some of you already have your eyes closed, but the others don't have their eyes closed. I invite you to close your eyes and just imagine, just an image of a city. Just let it flash through your mind and just hold it there before I come to my next slide. So just for 10 seconds, think what you think of a city. Hold that image and truthfully tell me, did this come to your mind? or this, or this, or this? No, frankly, no, it doesn't, because normally we do not associate cities with hunger, poverty, malnutrition, ill health, lack of sanitation, lack of water. These are issues we think is always rural. Cities are clean and fast moving and cars and internet and whatnot. But let's not fool ourselves. The cities of the future are going to abound in this. All these pictures will be what you'll be seeing in the cities if you're not willing to change the way we are working today. So we have to think afresh. Let us then move on and see where these gaps are. We have these gaps. Dr. Fan spoke about data. I'll say we have these gaps even before data in understanding, in definitions. What is urban? What is rural? In one of the panel discussions, you were a speaker, and I've heard you say that about a village in Japan which has better facilities than most of the cities in the developed world, and cities in many parts of the world which look worse than villages. So what is a village and what is a rural area? What is a city? Those definitions yet are not really defined. Of course, there are gaps in understanding urban hunger, which is so much different to rural hunger, malnutrition, issues around data, research, information, policy coherence, implementation strategies being followed. And while we say all this, we have to understand that there is no one size fits all solution. So it has to be a very contextualized sort of a thing that we go at. And unless we fix these gaps and unless we get our policies in place, you will always have this broken link. And the idea is how to mend this link. And that is where this report really comes in extremely handy. It tells you what the problems are. It also, in some chapters, tells you what are the solutions. So it is really helpful in getting across to the policymakers evidence and data on not just the problems, but also the solutions. Dr. Fan spoke very in detail about the solutions which are there, about strong, cohesive value chain, synergy between rural and urban governance, investment in infrastructure, social protection, leveraging small towns and cities. So I will go fast and skip those and come straight to FAO response because I saw the yellow card from there. So what are we doing in FAO? So what does FAO do? FAO is in this peculiar position where we work with data, we work with research, we work with academia and academics, and that is the sane, quiet world of FAO. But then we also straddle the chaotic political world, where we interact with governments and nations, where all our data, etc., is helpful, but not the final word and the final solution for national governments. As we saw in many parts in Africa, some policies working with vendors, while the same government would also be taking action against the informal sector. So there's a lot of contradiction in nations. And FAO, therefore, has to move in this two different arenas, trying to straddle two worlds of data and governance. We are therefore very thankful in a way to IFPRI for having published this report, because this one really helps to give us data. It gives us research, evidence, and best practices, which we can take with us when we go to the government. FAO is very much in the thick of things. And I think in a couple of days from now, this report is also being launched in FAO in Rome. I think Dr. Fan will be there. I think 27th is the date. So we really look forward to working closely with IFPRI and also using the valuable inputs from this report into our policy prescriptions of the future. Thank you.